70 days ago, the biggest roadblock in my life was I knew I wanted to get into real estate investing, but I had no idea where to start, and all the questions that I had, it felt like it was impossible to find the answers to those questions. That's when I decided to record and document this mini-series to prove to myself and to anyone watching that even if you have zero experience and you want to get into real estate investing, you can do it, and we finally found success. 70 days later, I am closing on my first real estate deal. I'm gonna break down all the details of this deal right now. Check it out. Now, right off the bat, if you're curious of how I financed the deal, how I found the deal, and all the other components that went into this, just go to my channel and check out the playlist. I documented every video. In this video, I'm specifically talking about this deal alone. So as I'm breaking down the details and the numbers on this deal, I'm actually gonna show you a walkthrough of this property that I'm talking about so you can get a visual of what I mean and what I'm referencing. I found this property listed from a wholesaler at $78,500, and I actually do need to stop right here and tell you the biggest thing that I learned throughout this entire process has to do with this fact right here, is that I bought this deal from a wholesaler, and what I need to break down for you is how much this wholesaler made on me by selling me this property. I'm gonna cover that at the end of this video. So purchase price was $78,500. The after rehab value is $115,000. Now, when I first did the simple math, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I've got $36,500 of room to play with in this deal. This is amazing. However, this is another major mistake that I was making along the way as a young investor. That $36,500 gets eaten up very, very quickly, far more quickly than you might imagine. Let me explain what I mean here. My goal with this property was to buy the property and then rehab it and refinance out 100% of my money so I leave no cash in the deal. If this is your first time hearing this strategy, it's called the BRRRR Strategy. You can read about it, whatever, but yes, it really is that lucrative. So with that being said, if you take the ARV of $115,000 on this deal and you multiply it by 80%, you really actually only have $92,000 to work with. Real quick, if this video is helping, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep going. I multiplied by 80% because that is the max amount my bank will allow me to use in a refinance when it comes time to refinance a property. So now if we go back to the beginning and do this math again, we're looking at $92,000 minus the listing price of $78,500, which leaves me with $13,500 of room to actually play with on this deal. Starting off, we estimated probably about $10,000 of rehab costs. This comes from just looking at pictures and then also what the wholesaler told us it would cost. And I've said this in other videos, but typically the number that a wholesaler gives you for what they think rehab costs are gonna be are always lower, in some cases several $1,000s lower, so that made me nervous, but here are the numbers that actually came back. As you can tell from the walkthrough video, this house is actually in pretty good condition, and so when we got our numbers back, there were a few big ticket items, but the final number was $7,700 of total rehab. At this point now, I know I have a deal, especially because even when we get in there and we recognize there are rehab costs that we didn't see on the front end, it's gonna be an extra 3, 4, 5 grand in a worst case scenario, I still have room for this to be a good deal. So this is a quick breakdown on this deal. Now the question is, after I rehab this property and I get a tenant in there and I start renting it out, how much money am I actually going to be making on a monthly basis? So the numbers are, we are going to try and rent this property out for $1,000 a month, and then the mortgage and taxes and insurance, everything associated with the mortgage costs are gonna be right around $550, and then the property management fee is gonna be anywhere from 80 to 100, let's say 80, hopefully we can cut a deal. So after all these expenses, we are hopefully going to be cash flowing about $370 a month. But here's the most lucrative part. I am leaving $0 in this deal after I refinance out all my money so I can go do it again. And speaking of money, I told you I would share at the end of the video the biggest lesson that I learned in regards to the wholesaler that I bought this property from. Here's the actual assignment contract for this property, and as you can see, this wholesaler assigned the property to me and made $20,000 on this deal, which means that this wholesaler found and bought this property for right around $58,500. Now, here's a big lesson. If I had been the one to find that deal, my margins would have been $20,000 bigger. So the biggest lesson I learned is I need to learn the wholesale game myself. I need to be the one out there hustling, finding my own deal so that I'm not giving away tens of thousands of dollars of margin to an assignment fee from somebody else that is doing something that if I work hard enough, I think that I can do. This property is the first of many, so if you want to come along for the journey, hit that subscribe button. I hope this video helped. We'll see you on the next one.